Welcome, welcome. The Japanese samurai Miyamoto Musashi once said that putting too much effort into things can be counterproductive, so I'm not going to put too much effort into editing this video. I hope you don't mind. This will be just me rambling on about Birthsigns in Morrowind over some footage of me exploring Arkngthand, the first dungeon in Morrowind, if you do the main quest. So Morrowind has 13 Birthsigns. We'll start at the bottom of the list with the tower. The tower has the tower key, open 50 points on touch, and also has the spell Beggar's Nose, which has detect animal, detect enchantment, and detect key for 60 seconds on self. I don't rate these spells too highly. They don't work like they did in Oblivion and Skyrim. They only show you animal, enchantment or key on the minimap, so don't expect too much out of it. As for the open spell, if it was a spell, I would like it very much. If it was 100 points on touch, I would like it very much as well. As it is, it's open 50 points and only once per day. I think that opening scrolls are not exactly rare in this game, especially not Undusi's unhinging scrolls, which are 40 to 60 points. So I would give this one a pass, but if the thief playstyle agrees with you, and this seems like something you would want, why not? Speaking of thieves, the next one is the Shadow, which gives you Moon Shadow, a power that when you cast it gives you invisibility for 60 seconds on self. Again, if it was a spell, I would like it very much. If it was 60 seconds of Chameleon, I would also like it very much. As such, invisibility gets interrupted by any action, such as picking up an item, opening a chest or a door, but it would still be useful as an emergency option to escape a fight. So I like the tower, I wouldn't totally discount it, but it wouldn't really be my choice, especially as a so-called veteran player, and when I know several easy to get objects that give me either Chameleon or invisibility even at the start of the game. But if you're a new player or this just seems like something you want to have, then why not? The Lover. The Lover gives you Mooncalf, which permanently increases your agility by 25 points. It also gives you a once per day power called a Lover's Kiss that causes paralyze for 60 seconds on target and damage fatigue 200 points on self. So it will drop your enemy, but most likely also drop yourself, at least for a few seconds. I would mention at this point two other Birthsigns, specifically the Warrior and the Thief. The Warrior gives you Fortify attack 10 points on self, and the Thief gives you Sanctuary 10 points on self. Now why do I mention this? I mention this because the Lover's bonus of 25 agility is basically like if you put 5 points of Fortify attack and 5 points of Sanctuary, because Fortify attack causes you to hit more often, and a Sanctuary causes you to dodge enemy hits more often. One thing about the Lover, apart from the fact that it's equivalent to only 5 points of each, is that agility still maxes out at 100. Meanwhile, even when you have 100 agility, you still have 10 Fortify attack on top of that or 10 Sanctuary on top of that. So from that point of view, either of these is superior. I would choose Sanctuary if my character had good weapon skills at the start of the game, but not too much health, and I would choose Fortify attack if I had good health, maybe good armor skills at the start of the game and be wearing armor, but my weapon skill was not where I wanted it to be. So for example, if I had 35 points of long blade, Fortify attack would be a very nice addition, because it would act like I had 45 points of long blade skill. So yeah. Next is the Ritual, which gives you 2 spells of Turn Undead. It's just that one is on target and one is on touch. It also gives you a once per day power called Mara's Gift. Restore health 100 points on self. I think this was my first birth sign in both Oblivion and Morrowind. If you are a veteran player and you have easy sources, or you know where to get health restore effects, where to get potions, where to get spells, this birth sign won't be very attractive to you. But if you're a new player, I think this sounds actually kinda nice. It's only once per day, but hey, it can save your skin once per day. I haven't used Turn Undead very much. Maybe I used it twice in my entire life. But basically it causes the undead you cast it on to run away. This could totally be useful, I guess. I normally just kill them. Next is the Atronach, which fortifies your maximum magicka by 2 times the intelligence. But it also gives you stunted magicka, which means you can't regenerate magicka by resting. But it also gives you spell absorption, 50 points on self, which means that you basically negate the attack of the enemy's spell, and you also gain the magicka used in that spell. So it's a magicka recuperation option. At this point I would also mention the Apprentice and the Mage. The Apprentice gives you a little less fortifying maximum magicka at 1.5 times intelligence, but it also gives you weakness to magicka, 50 points, or 50% if you like. And the mage just gives you 0.5 times intelligence. So the mage has no downsides, but at the same time the increase isn't that impressive. I don't think I've ever used that effect. Maybe I would if I chose a high elf to play, or a Breton, but I usually don't. I mean, choose it if you like. I just prefer to have more magicka at disposal. As for the Apprentice and the Atronach, it is true that the Apprentice makes you vulnerable. But at the same time, if you're new to the game, you may not know how to restore your magicka. Unless you do know these things, or you don't have alchemy, I would say that the Apprentice would probably be better for a beginner. You can still dodge spells with either birth sign. However, I would note that I would recommend the Atronach in Morrowind much more than I would the Atronach in Oblivion, because in Oblivion it just gives you flat out 100 more magicka, and I think that because of the non-functional alchemists in that game, you have to go on these long ingredient collecting trips so often if you use the Atronach birth sign that I wouldn't recommend it in that game. But in this game you have good alchemists. You can basically buy unlimited quantities of ingredients that have the restore magicka effect. If you have the money and if you have the skill and if you know where they are sold, and it's not that hard to figure out, the Atronach is actually a very good birth sign to use. But again, if you're a new player, you might find more success with the Apprentice, because the only thing you have to do with the Apprentice to restore your magicka is use the rest button and rest until healed. Next is the Lord. It gives you 100% the weakness to fire and a spell of restore health 2 points for 30 seconds on self. I think this is a pretty dire weakness for a restore health spell. But it is a restore health spell, not a power, so you can use it as often as you like. So from that point of view it's more useful, but at the same time it's for 30 seconds. You restore a lot of health, but you need 30 seconds to restore it all. So I would say there are better ways, quicker ways, ways without so many disadvantages to restore your health. With these Morrowind Birthsigns or Birthsigns in general, I would suggest you to think of Birthsign less as options to optimize your character and more as difficulty settings, I guess. Because the birth signs, quite frankly, they are not created equal. There are birth signs that are really fucking good, and then there's this. So if you don't want to give yourself a significant major advantage, or if you want a disadvantage or whatever in your gameplay, this is a good option. But as for optimization, it's not a very good birth sign objectively, as are most of those that grant you just a daily power or a spell. The next is Charioteer. No. The next is the Steed, which has the Charioteer ability, which means your speed is increased by 25 points at the start of the game. If your character has only 30 speed and you don't plan on getting the Boots of Blinding Speed at the start of the game, then this is a good option for you, because some may think that the Boots of Blinding Speed are an exploit, that they're cheating. If you feel that way, I don't, but if you feel that way, fair enough. This can be your option to turn your slow as shit character into a decently speedy character. Personally, I would just get the Boots of Blinding Speed, or I would make a character that starts with at least 40 or 50 speed at the start. But if you don't want to get the boots and you feel like the slow speed will impact your enjoyment of the game, then this is a good option for you. Next is a very popular birth sign called the Lady. It gives you Lady's Favor and Lady's Grace abilities, which means you have a permanent boost of 25 personality and 25 endurance at the start of the game, which makes you more popular. NPCs like you more outright, which is always good, and 45 endurance. Now I would caution you with something with this 45 endurance bonus. If you expect these 25 points to affect your starting health, let me tell you straight out that it doesn't. These 25 points are applied afterwards. Whatever strength and endurance that you have before you choose your birth sign is what affects your starting health. Of course, these 25 points that you add with the Lady will affect your health gain in the levels you gain. Just a little clarification. But it is a very good birth sign. Better health and better relationship with NPCs is always a good thing. And then lastly we have the Serpent. The Serpent gives you a spell called Star Curse, which first of all causes 3 points of poison damage for 30 seconds on touch, but it also damages you 1 point of damage health for 30 seconds on touch. Furthermore, poison is one of those effects that can be cured. There is the Cure Poison spell, and the Cure Poison potions are common. I don't know how often NPCs use them. Probably not that often, but again, 90 HP damage can be a lot for early levels, but not so much afterwards. For example, a Blighted Elite I think has 105. But again, you can spam cast it. But at the same time you have to heal yourself. Unless you're using a resist magicka effect whenever you cast this. I personally don't like it. I don't know, tell me what your opinion is on this birth sign in the comment section. Well, we've went through all the birth signs. I don't have anything else to say currently, so if you like this video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and go watch this video where I do the Antabolis Informant quest, or maybe go watch this video on how to get the Boots of Blinding Speed. Your choice. Thanks for watching.